Hello, everyone. This is Katrin with Disability Rights New York. Welcome to our podcast, Empire State of Rights Closed Captioned. We are here to bring you information on the most relevant topics regarding disability rights and advocacy. Today, we have Ahmat Adam Djouma, student at Mohawk Valley Community College, here to discuss voting accessibility during the 2018 general election. Hello, Ahmat. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us via phone today.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the podcast.
So before we start, can you just discuss a little bit with us your history with poll site inaccessibility?
Okay. I took the oath of allegiance and became a United States citizen on January of 2016. And my first experience with voting was on November of 2016 presidential election. And for that election, I used the absentee ballot to cast my vote. And on November of 2017, I went to my polling site and asked to use the accessible BND accessible machine. And no one at the polling site knew how to work the machine. So I had to have them read the ballot and for them to fill it out because they didn't have the machine and they didn't know how to work the machine. Actually, they had the machine, but they didn't know how to work it. So I had to have them read me the ballot. And recently, the 2018 midterm election, I went to vote on that yesterday. That was on Tuesday, actually, not yesterday, but Tuesday. That, I would say, went okay, the machine working. But when I filled out the ballot using the accessible machine in the end, they could not get the printed copy of the ballot to get scanned because they said somehow it came out very blurry, so they could not get the machine to scan my ballot. So I had to have someone, my brother, refill it manually. I would just say it was a good experience, but it just wasn't working that well.
So it was a little bit better than your first time in 2016, but still not fully accessible for you this past week.
No, it was not, no. Because after even I filled the ballot, it was not, after I filled it, they could not even get it to scan. It didn't print out correctly. It printed out very blurry, and that the machine that they were scanning with could not recognize it.
Now, before Election Day this week, did you have concerns regarding your voting accessibility for this election? And what were they?
Well, I had concerns like that. They might not be able to. Actually, my concern was primarily that they might not be able to work the machine or not know how to work the machine like they were not able to with the previous election in 2017. But they were able to work the machine, but, they could not. The only issue I had was them printing out the ballot and getting it to scan.
So that would be the main accessibility issue that you experienced at your poll site this year.
Right.
So how can these problems be resolved? I mean, what can the public do to help, or what other agencies, what can they do to help?
I would say primarily that the disability agencies or any person who has a disability, they have to make sure that their public officials know, they have to call out their public officials or just make a concern with them that some things are not accessible, and perhaps they can just make sure that their public officials know, I would say, and try to advocate that they have the machine accessible.
That's great. Ahmat, is there anything else that you want to share with us today?
I would also say, though, that I had a good experience with using the BMD voting accessible machine. It was my first time using it, and they had a lot of instructions that I had to read through in order to know how to use the machine. And I do think that it's the right progress and right steps toward making it accessible, but I don't really like the BMD that much because you got to try to read the instructions and figure out, what you need to do. And it almost took me half an hour to try to get through the ballot, So I think it'd be made easier.
Well, thank you so much for your time and your input. We really like hearing about your experience and voting this year.
Thank you for having me on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Thanks again, Emma. We'll talk to you soon.
Well, thank you.
Empire State of Rights Closed Captioned has been brought to you by Disability Rights New York, your source for disability rights and advocacy. If you enjoyed our program, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this post. If there is a subject you would like us to discuss, please email podcast@drny.org. Tune in next time where we'll bring you more information on disability rights in the state of New York. The closed captioned version of this podcast is available on our YouTube channel.